We keep using the phrase, how to make every job a climate job, but how do you actually do that? I'm so grateful for our sponsor, BrightAction, who is leading this incredible session, who will be guiding you through practical tips to think about sustainability in your workplace, whether or not you work in a climate workplace or not. So let's get into it and give Lisa a round of applause.
Thanks, Christy, and thanks for the invite to be here. So just a little bit of background or a little story about how I got started in this. I was doing a lot of climate and justice activism for over 10 years outside of my day job. And after 10 years, I was just not seeing policies happen the way that we needed them to. And I saw the chasm between where policies and commitments are at and where science says we need to be just growing. And so I asked myself the question, what else can we do? Policy is so important. It can really move the needle and it can really make a difference. And I knew there were a lot of amazing people working on policy. I knew that was going to continue. And I asked the question, what else could we do? And at that point in time, I was doing a lot of organizing even in my own city, and a report came out from Yale, and it said that 2/3 of Americans are worried about climate change, and they want to help and they want to take an action, but it feels overwhelming, and they don't know where to start. And I thought that that was an important moment. For me, it was a light bulb moment, where I thought to myself, that's really important, that's really powerful. And so our mission at BrightAction is to make it simple, easy, fun, community building for people to learn about the solutions to climate change and actions they can take in their everyday lives. So, with that, we're going to talk about solutions. So the amazing thing is once I asked this question and thought this is so important to make it easy for people to learn about solutions, I asked the question, what can we do? And I was so amazed at the answer. The reality is that we have so many climate solutions available to us now, and this was not the case 10 or 15 years ago, but things have really evolved and they've really changed. And we have many, many climate solutions available that we can do now in our everyday lives and in our everyday workplaces and work lives as well. So there are 5 big categories of solutions that are really moving the needle. The first is to make our electricity renewable and carbon-free. Then use that renewable electricity to power our buildings and heat our buildings. And then also use that renewable electricity to power our transportation. And then along the way, use less energy to help with the transition. So saving energy helps that transition happen faster. It also reduces the climate pollution while we're transitioning, and it also saves us money. The amazing thing is you can actually save a lot of money by taking these actions in your daily life. So then the last category is food and waste. There are 3 main solutions in this category. The first one is plant-based meals and eating less beef. The second one is sustainable agriculture. Predominantly, this is around soil management practices. And then finally, keeping organic waste out of the landfill. All of these create methane and nitrous oxide, which are 2 very, very powerful climate pollutants. So these are the 5 solutions that we have available today. There are so many actions we can all take in these categories that make an impact on climate change. And the amazing thing is that they cover 75% of our US emissions. These are road tested, in the market, available, and the costs are coming down for some of the higher ticket items. The costs are coming down, and they're becoming even more accessible every day. So, and then the other point that's so important is that all of these actions have huge co-benefits. So all of the actions in those 5 categories, they create cleaner, healthier air, both in our homes, in our workplaces, and outside. They improve our health. They lower energy bills. Taking a lot of these actions at home can really lower your energy bills, and that's also the case for your workplace too. Taking these actions will help your company lower their energy bills. And then also, a lot of these actions support local jobs and create climate resilience, and there's more. So imagine what it would be like if we brought all these solutions forward through our everyday lives, through our everyday work lives, and through to the future. So together we have the power to change climate change. Policy is incredibly important. We need to keep fighting for strong policy because we know it can move the needle. We know it can make a lot of these solutions more affordable and reach people that are not able to do some of the solutions today. So we need to keep fighting for policy. But we can also, every day in our lives, take actions that really make a difference. So what are some things you can do? So I'm just going to throw out some ideas of some things that you all can do, both at work and at home. So for food and waste at work, you can choose more plant-based meals. If you're out to lunch with coworkers, choose a plant-based meal, share a little bit, and inspire. If you have a cafeteria or a favorite lunch spot, ask for more plant-based meal options. Reduce food waste and compost whenever you can. And reduce waste and plastics. So ditch plastics at mealtime, bring a container and bring your own utensils, and bring your own mug to use for coffee. Outside of work, at home, you can also do some additional things like making a meal plan to reduce food waste, and then reduce and protect our resources in general by shopping smart and going thrifting. For building energy, at work, you can just turn stuff off when you leave. And that's lights, computers, equipment, whatever is in your workplace that you don't need overnight. And then also you can try a smart power strip, which can really reduce energy use as well. And ask about thermostat settings. If you're in a building that's always cold, talk to somebody and see, can they come up with a thermostat setting that's comfortable and not too cold? So people don't feel like they have to have that under the desk heater going on. And then at home, consider signing up for green electricity. It's usually only $5 or $10 a month, and it makes a big difference. And if you're cooking with gas at home, try a portable induction cooktop. These are small cooktops. They're about $50, $60 to buy one. And it works extremely well. You can heat up food really fast, you can boil water really fast, and it keeps you from using that gas stove. Cooking with gas in the household really creates a lot of air pollution that's really hazardous, really harmful. So getting gas out of your kitchen is a really big benefit. And then the third big category here is transportation. So if you commute to work, check out your alternative commute options. It depends on where you are, whether you have them. Some areas have great options and some don't. Check them out, see what's available, and ask your company about commute passes or other options that they offer. And then work at home when you can, and meet virtually when you can to reduce travel costs for meetings. And then at home, consider the next time you're looking to get a vehicle, if you drive, consider an EV. EVs are coming down in price, and there's a huge used market for EVs that's developing right now. EVs save the average driver about $1,000 a year. So big cost savings, and the used EV market will really help to move that forward and make it affordable for a lot of folks. Choose a staycation. Check out your local area. Check out a local restaurant you haven't been to instead of driving far away. And keep your tires inflated. These are meant to be simple, easy things you can do. You can actually save up to 6% of your fuel costs for driving by just keeping your tires inflated. And then another one is to work together. So connect with others at your workplace. Look for a green team or a sustainability employee resource group and work together to move sustainability initiatives forward at your work. Talk with HR or your employee engagement team about ways to integrate activities or volunteering around climate and climate solutions. And really, really very impactful is to talk about climate solutions. As I mentioned earlier, most people really are worried, they really want to help, and it feels overwhelming and they don't know where to start. Most people really want to know about solutions, so talking about it, talking about something that you did, an action you took, and maybe the benefit you had from that action, maybe how much money you saved, will help build a culture of solutions. And then finally, you can learn some more. So Drawdown has a great resource. They have action guides for different types of work roles. So you can go there and you can look up the role that you have now, or the role you're planning to have in the future, and look for specific additional actions you can take in the workplace. And then you can also learn more about climate change and climate solutions. You can invest in a climate fellowship program with Tara Dew, or apply for the new one-year Masters in Climate Solutions at UC Berkeley. These are just some ideas, there's lots more. You can also find more information about all the actions I mentioned with us at brightaction.app. So we have a full set of home actions. So for each of these actions, you can see how much it would cost, how much you would save from the action. You can also see the impact for the action for your specific household. It's very localized. And how-to guides and resources. We have a full set of home actions, and we'll be adding at-work actions soon. With that, you all are up. So for the rest of this session, we're going to have everybody turn and talk to each other. So you can get together in groups of 3 or 4 and talk about some actions you've taken that you want to share and talk about, or maybe one of the actions you saw here that you want to try out. And yeah, share with each other and inspire each other.
Hello.